Here I am at the Oregon Department of Forestry, the Western Lane District, where there has been record numbers in wildfires this year. We are at the intersection of Powell and 12th, where last night a girl was abducted, and we have several witnesses who saw what happened. The police are still searching for the lost girl named Maria Lopez, but here are some of the witnesses' testimonies. The next goal for Food for Lane County is to team up with Lane Community College, as their hope is to establish a food pantry there in the near future. They're called On the Rocks, but they're aiming for the stars. The a cappella group gained nationwide fame on the TV show The Sing-Off. Now the all-male group has new faces and new voices.
2, 3, 4.
No, it is not Lady Gaga's cover of Bad Romance that has over 8 million YouTube views. It is the current On the Rocks group that, according to several members, wants to be known as something other than the group that went to the Sing-Off just 2 years ago.
We've made it pretty clear that the group in itself has moved on from that. There's no remaining members, but it's a younger group. A lot of us are most of us are freshmen, sophomores, and yeah, pretty much just moving on. Still holding the same values though.
This year's group has an overwhelming amount of new faces, as more than half of the group is in their first year with On the Rocks. Nonetheless, the singing group's camaraderie stays the same.
We definitely want to have all these different people have all these different personalities, and we just want to make a new group, but also just keep the same kind of spontaneity and excitement.
A typical day of On the Rocks can include 3 shows and have the group walking to different parts of the campus or to any city near Eugene just to perform.
I feel for you.
For now, On the Rocks' main focus is completing their 6th album, which is set to release in April. But the group is also looking towards spring break, where every year the men tour certain parts of the United States. Last year's group opened for Boys to Men in a show in Chicago. For this year, the group is trying to go to Texas.
It's a process in the making. We're trying to get our way there, so we're just hoping that the ASU will help us out.
For now, On the Rocks continues to sing for the entire university every Friday at the MU at 4 p.m. I'm Joaquin Aguilar reporting for J432 News. In comparison to last year at this time, the Oregon Department of Forestry says fire danger is exceptionally high. The red line you see here shows how extreme the danger is. In years past, the average risk percentage was around 20. During the month of May, numbers have hit the 50s. The former record highs were at 40.
Been a lot drier, we've been a lot warmer than in the years past. Of course, that's going to be conducive to a larger fire season.
That's more than one kind of bad news for the Department of Forestry. Not only is the wildfire danger out of bounds, but due to the early start of the wildfire season, it has also caused issues in staffing, as ODF isn't staffed at normal fire season levels yet. Most of ODF's summer employees are college students who aren't out of school yet, let alone trained. Due to the lack of workers, ODF has asked for help from other fire prevention services. They have appealed to the Forest Service, to fire departments, and to the timber industry for aid.
We don't have very many people on to fight fire right now, so it's kind of all hands on deck. We're not staffing right now 7 days a week, so we can't respond to every burn pile there is.
Despite the short staff and the early glimpses of wildfire season, the Forestry Department wants the public to know if there is a fire, they'll find the resources to fight it as best they can.
In the early part of the season, it's kind of hit or miss. Right now, we're just kind of banking on what history will be telling us. We always plan for the worst and hope for the best.
They are also asking for help from one other group of citizens, all of us. With summer quickly approaching, the Western Lane District advises those in Lane County to be cautious and to be safe when it comes to prevent wildfires. Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Joaquin Aguilar. Thousands of new ducks unpacked their lives Thursday, and volunteers were there to lend a hand.
And these incredible volunteers come and help them get their things, get them moved into the building.
It's called Unpack the Quack. Launched by the university last year, hundreds of students, faculty, and staff spend the day moving freshmen in.
I think we do get to offer that, just that comfort and friendly faces, get to give people just a good idea of what campus is like.
Director of University Housing, Michael Griffel, says the program started small last year.
We've got 200 more volunteers this year. Last year we started with 300 volunteers, which we thought was amazing, and to get 500 is just an incredible outpouring of faculty, staff, alumni, and students.
And volunteers say they help take the stress out of moving.
It's not only physically helpful to have someone help you carry your heavy stuff, but it's nice because you can ask them questions and they know a lot about what's happening on campus.
Reporting out of the University of Oregon in Eugene, Joaquin Aguilar, K2 News. The University of Oregon is always changing and looking for new ways to improve its buildings. Earl and Straub Halls are the latest buildings slated for makeovers, with construction set to begin in July. The construction will add 48,000 square feet of new and renovated space, as well as a total of 1,006 classroom seats. The university is asking the campus community to comment on the plans for Straub and Earl. A website has been created for input on the proposed designs. It includes links for collecting comments on the project sitemap and floor plans, as well as three-dimensional images of the auditorium, commons, and exterior.
It's our building, kind of. We're the ones that primarily use it, so to have a say in it would just be really nice. And a lot of times that doesn't happen. You can find a lot of your students, oh, we're just going to do this.
Even though the project will not begin until July, work is already being done at Straub and Earl.
We have to move everything out of our office. We have to throw away or recycle the stuff we don't need or don't want anymore. And that's all on us. The university's not going to do it for us.
The Museum of Natural and Cultural History also asked for input with its expansion, but construction has already gotten underway as the build-out began in March. A $150,000 grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services funded the project. The grant allowed for feedback on potential displays during the planning process. The expansion will transform a storage area into exhibit space, adding an extra 2,000 square feet to the museum.
It's going to be a state-of-the-art exhibit hall, and I think that it's going to bring a lot of very positive attention both to the museum and also to the university.
Even though the museum is still under construction, we do know it will be broken up into 8 different sections with multiple displays. This section will have a 7-foot-tall replica skeleton of a giant sloth which lived in Oregon close to 10,000 years ago. Part of the exhibit will also display fossils from the Condon collection, many of which have never been displayed. As for the Museum of Natural and Cultural History, after the expansion is completed, fall 2013 is the scheduled opening date. Reporting for Oregon News, Joaquin Aguilar. The county is mailing ballots to voters today for the upcoming special election. John Goodwood has your guide to the 3 measures listed on the ballot. The financial impact for the school levy would amount to $42 a year for the owners of a medium-priced home. The jail levy would cost no more than an estimated $85 a year. In order to be counted, ballots must be turned in by 8 p.m. on Election Day, May 21st. As the cost of food and tuition rises, some students are turning to the government for help putting food on their table. Daniel Frack reports. Welcome back. Smoking cigarettes has been a habit that people have yet to kick, despite the fact that people know it's bad for their health. With smoking outlawed in more and more places, some smokers have turned to a new technology, electronic cigarettes. While the month of May brings more to the state of Oregon than just wine, than sunshine and spring flowers, May is Oregon's official wine month, when we have an excuse for celebrating wineries, wine culture, and different varieties of the grape. If you are interested in learning more about Oregon wine, the Broadway Wine Merchants offers free wine tasting on Fridays. Sports is up when we return. Spencer Gordon will take us inside the spring football game and more Oregon sports when we return. Breaking news tonight out of Southwest Portland, as Portland police have made an arrest in the murder of Jamie Larson. They've arrested 37-year-old Michael James Kirkland tonight. He will make his first court appearance tomorrow. Larson was found dead in her apartment on Christmas Day. Her funeral was held earlier this afternoon. A Vancouver toddler was found wandering in the middle of the street in frigid temperatures. Staffers at Washington Elementary saw him outside at about 1 o'clock without shoes or socks on his feet. They brought him inside and called police. Turns out the boy and his family live across the street, and his mom told police that he thought she was sleeping. She realized that the child was gone after 4 o'clock and called 911. Child Protective Services took the boy into custody and is now investigating. Portland police are trying to find this man, 34-year-old Eric Gigliotti. He suffers from a number of medical and mental health issues that could seriously endanger his welfare. He was last seen at his house near 177th and Southeast Division on Saturday morning. Call Portland police if you can help. Covering Marion County now, as fires will have to tear off the roof of a burned strip mall in northeast Salem before they can begin the investigation into what started the huge fire. It started Monday night at around 11. The fire appeared to be the worst in the meat market, where workers had been up until about 3 hours before the fire started. But investigators are also looking at a video posted online that may have evidence that the fire was an arson. Congress must find a way to pay down some of the country's debts if it wants to keep the government's top credit rating. Moody's Investors Service says it expects lawmakers to take additional steps to lower the deficit. Even though Congress voted on a deal to keep taxes from skyrocketing for the most of us, they put off decisions about spending cuts. The deal generates $600 billion in revenue, raises tax on people making more than $400,000, and lets payroll tax cut expire, which means a tax increase on most Americans, and also extends unemployment benefits.
Hopefully in the new year we'll focus on is seeing if we can put a package like this together with a little bit less drama.
In response to the bill, the Dow jumped more than 300 points. That's the biggest gain in more than a year. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.